Top of the hour, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm Poppy Harlow, in for my friend Brooke Baldwin. Today you are watching special CNN coverage of CNN's Republican presidential debate, which is a big debate, a huge debate, and it is tonight in Houston, where we find my friend John Berman. Hey, John.
Hey, Poppy. Yeah, this debate is just a little more than 5 hours from now. You will see the smallest field of Republicans on stage so far, under the greatest pressure in this campaign so far. Why? 3 for 3 in the last 3 states. Donald Trump with all the momentum. New Hampshire, South Carolina in that, landslide in Nevada. Any second now, Ted Cruz or his supporters, we don't know which one, they will arrive to do a pre-debate walkthrough. They will go on the debate stage to check things out. This, as there is one report that surfaced that some of his reporters might be getting nervous. This is a combustible, controversial story in the National Review that says a group of prominent conservative leaders that endorsed Cruz months ago, that they held an emergency conference call this week and talked about the possibility of dropping Cruz and maybe defecting to Marco Rubio if Ted Cruz does not turn things around next week on Super Tuesday. Joining me now from Nashville is a key supporter of Ted Cruz, the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins, the author of No Fear, Real Stories of a Courageous New Generation Standing for Truth. Tony, thanks for being with us. You simply say that conference call never happened.
John, I got nervous when I read the story. I thought maybe they didn't invite me, but I checked around. There was no conference call. There is no one that I have found that has embraced what was said in that story. Now, no doubt someone's spinning yarn here. I think somebody that may be like Rubio is trying to plant this seed, but I can tell you it's not happening. There's no defections. Look, the reason people support Ted Cruz and the reason I came out as an individual, not as the organization that I represent, is simply because he has a vision for the future. We're looking at now very clearly in front of us a president who is going to appoint Supreme Court justices, and unfortunately we have seen how important the court has become in our culture and that it has literally reshaped the cultural landscape of our country. And we want a president who understands the judiciary, understands judicial temperament, and will make the right picks.
So you say the call didn't happen. You say you think it might be simply dirty tricks, a Rubio supporter that planted that story?
Well, I'm just going to say I think someone is being less than truthful. There was no conference call in which this was discussed. Now, I'm not going to say that there wasn't a couple of people maybe on a phone somewhere talking about it that leaked a story or created a story for a reporter, but no, there was no conference call to discuss what was laid out in that story.
So you say there was no conference call. Does that mean there's no angst within the broad group of folks supporting Ted Cruz? Because the last 2 contests did not go the way I think you all thought they might and had planned for. 3rd place in South Carolina, losing the evangelical vote there. 3rd place in Nevada, losing the evangelical vote there. How much concern is there within the ranks right now?
Well, I mean, we would love to be doing victory laps around each state. I think that would be a much better position to be in. But not surprised. I mean, this is a very tough, difficult contest. It's uphill. But as you've been talking about here just moments ago, Ted Cruz is leading in Texas by about 15 points. But you look at, Marco Rubio's underwater. He's about 16 points behind in his own state of Florida. So it doesn't really make any sense to say that we would go to Marco Rubio, who has not yet won a state, who has not really does not have a track record of being a fighter, and that's what we need the next president who's not simply going to babysit America's demise, but someone who is going to be willing to go in and do the things that needs to be done to counter what this present president has done in the last 7 years, and that is really disassemble this republic and the Constitution upon which it stands.
There seems to be a split within Cruz world among folks who thinks that maybe he should stop talking about Marco Rubio altogether and really just focus on the frontrunner Donald Trump, especially tonight on the debate, and others who say, he can walk and chew gum at the same time. He needs to keep the focus on both candidates. Where do you sit among those camps?
Well, I think first off, I think really he's got to address both policy fronts in terms of where they stand on the policies. But I think this whole episode that has occurred since Iowa has been somewhat of a distraction from taking his attention, the campaign's attention, off of the vision that they're casting for America. I think Americans want to know where we're going, and I don't think they care so much about the infighting and the elbowing that's going on here, but they want to know where we're going, and that's the reason I'm with Ted Cruz, is because I believe he has the ability, the intellect, the fortitude to take this country where it needs to go, and I think the campaign and I think Ted Cruz is better served casting that vision which they have and which distinguishes them from the other candidates.
Tony Perkins, thanks so much for coming on with us and clearing up what did and did not happen from your eyes, at least, on that conference call or the non-conference call.